beautiful, and thank you for clicking on today's video. On this channel, I have talked about minimalism quite a bit, and I've talked about the purchases that were perhaps irresponsible before starting minimalism that I've absolutely regretted. But today I wanted to take you on the journey of things that I've regretted post-minimalism. And I wanted to highlight that even though you're taking this step in the right direction, started a minimalist life, trying to live more simply and less on the grip of capitalism, you can still make mistakes along the way. So this is my list. Number one on this list might surprise you guys because I feel like every minimalist and eco-friendly person on this platform has talked about what a godsend these are, but that is dryer balls. So if you guys don't know, a dryer ball is basically the substitution for dryer sheets, and they help with static in your dryer and they help dry time. I have found that these don't help dry time that significantly. Additionally, when I add essential oils to the balls and they make my clothing smell nice, occasionally it'll smell a little bit burned. It might be the essential oils that I'm using, or it could be that I'm drying my blankets too hot. Either way, I find that they don't help with dry time that substantially. Where I currently live, with or without these, I have static on my clothes, and the essential oil thing isn't really worth it to me either. So even though these were not that expensive, and I do see their value in certain use cases, for my life personally, I tend to just go bare bones when I throw my things in the dryer, or I'll air dry them for the more eco-friendly option, or if the clothes are more sensitive. So dryer balls, not really a win for me. I don't know if I'm gonna keep these or maybe give them, I guess I don't need them, so I'll probably give them to a neighbor or something, but that is number one. Number two on the list is my winter boots. Last year I made a transition in my life where I moved from California to a state that has snow, and I didn't know that much about snow, so I figured that I could buy a pair of winter rubber rain hunter boots and then winterfy them with a fur insole, and they would be applicable for both rain and snow. And I found out in one calendar year, one season, that that's actually not the case for two reasons. Number one, rubber boots, even with the fur insoles, are not warm enough for snow. And number two, they're just a little bit cumbersome to walk in, making them not super ideal when you're trying to walk on snow and you really need traction and ankle stability. So I had bought them on Facebook Marketplace, and I actually recently did a declutter of my shoes. It's probably from this video. That video was probably posted last month, so I'll go ahead and link that down below. But I talked in that video how I was going to try and sell the hunter boots because I had only worn them a few times before I realized they weren't really going to work out. And I did. Actually, I did a bartering system, which is what I really prefer to do when I can, just because it's cool to me to be able to trade somebody something as opposed to just currency. So she got my hunter boots plus the little fur insoles, and I got a Patagonia fleece jacket that had pretty much never been worn, and that was the trade that I did. So I got rid of those boots, and when it finally does snow, we haven't had a lot of snow this season, I'll be able to test the boots that I'm currently trying to use, and if those don't work out, we'll move forward next year with hopefully a proper winter boot. But luckily, it was a regret, but it wasn't such a bad one because I bought them secondhand and I was able to give them a new home. All right, you guys, number three. This is probably the most expensive on the list and also kind of the dumbest because it was a little bit of an impulse purchase. This was at the very beginning journey of my minimalism journey where I thought that minimalism was a lifestyle and purchasing decisions, but also an aesthetic, which it can be, but I now have grown to realize that it doesn't have to be for me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. This is an RFID leather passport wallet, and I bought this at one of those luxury luggage stores that I had no business being in whatsoever. And it's very nice. It's leather. It's RFID protected. It has the card slots. It has the passport holder. It's very well made. And actually, that's part of the reason that the guy was able to sell it to me, because he was like, it's made in America. That's why it's so expensive. It's really high quality, this, that, the other. And I was like, yeah, sold. Like, I need one, what have you. I was, at the time, looking for a passport holder, but I have found since then made in America, leather, RFID passport holders for like $35. This, if I recall correctly, because I bought this many years ago, was like over $150. And as much as I like supporting, you know, locally made in the USA, correctly made, RFID, all of that good stuff, I don't use a passport holder enough to require the highest quality of goods for that item. I think a lot of times people in general, but also people starting minimalism, they get this notion in their head that they have to have the best quality of everything. So the best quality car, the best quality shoes, the best quality sheets, the best quality wallet. But I find that in reality, it's far better to use balance with things like that. So things that you use all of the time, like your car tires, your bed sheets, your shoes, those, if you can, should be high quality items. But a passport holder for a person who doesn't go international even every year, I don't need the highest quality of passport holders that's going to last forever, because a cheap one would have also lasted forever with my particular use case. So I will still use this item and I still keep this item, but I do regret the purchase price and the impulsivity of which I used to buy this item. But, you know, that's that on that. Next on the list, I don't have an example to hold up for you, but that is pants that fit good enough. I have, I guess, a very interestingly shaped body. I feel like I'm a pear shape, but my waist is like a size 0-2, depending upon the brand, whereas my butt is like a size 6, usually overall. And for whatever reason, even though jeans are coming out with like the curvier options, the ratio of my waist to like butt, for some reason, I just can never find pants that fit exactly right. And I kept buying pants because there would be instances where I needed pants, and waiting for the perfect pants ran me into a wall where I needed pants for a specific thing and I didn't have them, so that I had to buy them, and they were good enough because I've been searching for years and I haven't been able to find ones that are great. And I realized I need to take my own advice with tailoring. So I get a lot of my clothing tailored, but for some reason jeans was never something that I considered tailoring before. So now what I do is I buy high-waisted. I've learned I like high-waisted jeans, not mid-rise, not low-rise. And I get them in the bigger size, and then I have them taken in, and then they just fit perfectly. So now I have a pair of black jeans and a pair of blue jeans, and that's it. But what I want to also acquire is a pair of like black slacks and maybe a darker wash pair of denim. But I will say the tailoring, expensive but worth it, especially if you only have a few pairs of pants, because there would be this situation where I would get dressed in the morning and I would be comfortable everywhere except for my pants, and it was always my pants. I'm sure some of you guys can empathize, because I feel like pants, the way they size them, are made for like not even like one body type. I feel like most women have trouble with pants, but that's been my solution, is quality over quantity, and then get them tailored. Even though it's an expense, it's worth it to have like those 3 or 4 pairs of pants that actually fit properly. What I will say, I still have an issue with pants. I like the pockets on the back of my pants to be kind of more narrow. That way my bottom doesn't look quite as wide as it is. And for whatever reason, the style right now is to have the pockets be wider. I think so it's more comfortable to actually use the pockets. So getting a pocket redone is not really possible with tailoring, usually because the distressing of the jean makes that not possible. So that's still an issue. However, the fit of my pants has been very much improved, which I appreciate. So buying pants that don't fit, and I've done that for years. So I mean, I can only imagine the hundreds of dollars that have gone to pants that don't make me feel good, aren't comfortable, and then I've eventually decluttered for those reasons. So that's that on that. I finally found what pants work for me, and I'm just going to stick to that. All right, next on the list isn't really an exact item, but it's more of a category, and that is consumable items that I ended up not liking. I think it's fine to test new items. Just because you're a minimalist doesn't mean that you have to stick in the same bucket that you were of purchasing things that you were doing 10 years ago. You know, our needs change, our skin changes, our desires change, our budgets change, etc. So I do occasionally test new items, whether it's lotions, deodorants, shampoos, sometimes food items. And that's just part of like being a human, I feel like, is sometimes you test new things or you're given new things. So I don't necessarily wholeheartedly regret this, because this is probably something that's still going to happen moving forward. There's certain things that I've spent money on and then don't have a use case for. So in that way, it's a little bit of a regret. One example I have is I got this natural crystal deodorant, and I got it in a 2-pack on Amazon. And then I realized it doesn't really work for me for what my needs are in a deodorant. So I got rid of one of them, but then I have a second one that I don't know what to do with. So although testing new things isn't inherently problematic, perhaps I should not buy them in packs of 2 until I know if they work or not. So I'm probably going to donate this to a women's shelter if they'll take it. It's kind of an interesting item, but I feel like maybe it'll work. So next on the list is in the same realm as consumables that didn't work out, but I wanted to talk about this one specifically because I feel like every minimalist and eco-friendly person all over the internet talks about how awesome this item is, and I would like to prevent somebody from buying it if I can, because I hate this. So it is the 18-in-1 Castile soap. And I thought, yes, 18-in-1, it can be my everything. It's going to be the best minimalist house cleaning, body cleaning product ever. Oh my God, no. Have you guys ever been to like a nail salon that also does eyelash extension and eyelash tinting and eyebrow threading and eyebrow waxing and facial waxing and massages and like all of the things? Typically, those are the type of nail salons where one of those pillars of activity are not as good as they could be. I feel like specialized items sometimes are better. Like my nail salon does nails, waxing, that's it. But the nail salons I've been to in the past, historically, that have done everything a little bit less good than those who specialize in a specific thing. It's kind of like a doctor. If you want to see a doctor about your skin, do you want to go to a dermatologist or do you want to go to like a general practitioner that has a little bit of knowledge in everything? If you have an issue with your skin, you probably want to go to the specialist. Anyway, all that is to say is that this does a lot of things and it doesn't do a lot of things very well. I find when I add it to my cleaners, it leaves a film even though I've properly diluted it. When I put it on my skin or hair, it leaves a film even though I've properly diluted it. When I use it on my dishes, it doesn't get them nearly as clean as like Dawn does. It's not very good at degreasing. So what I'm doing now is I have it in my little pump soap dispenser in my kitchen, and then when I use it up, I am never going to buy this again because I feel like an all-talent jack is not always a good thing. So if you were considering buying this soap or not, I would recommend buying a very small one to determine if you like it or not, and then upgrade to this because I don't like it. I think I convinced myself that I liked it when I first got it, but then after using it, I'm like, this kind of sucks. So save yourself the trouble. Maybe don't get that one. Get like a 2-in-1 or a 3-in-1 instead of an 18-in-1. It's trying to do too much. Okay, and then the last one, I'm just looking over here at my notes. The last one is when I tried the curly girl routine. So you might not know this about me, but I actually have naturally wavy curly hair. And there's this phenomenon going around called the curly girl routine where people with wavy curly hair are discovering how to properly care for their curls. A lot of the notion of the curly girl routine is built on the idea that if you have curly hair, you probably have dry hair, because statistically that tends to be the case. And I had bought a whole bunch of products only to then end up giving myself a scalp infection, because I actually have quite oily skin, oily hair, oily scalp. And the way that the Curly Girl method is fundamentally designed, you're not like cleansing your hair in the way that I require. A lot of times you're cleansing with conditioners or co-washes, etc. And at the same time, you're putting all of this excess product in your hair that you're never really getting out thoroughly with like a stripping, get all the crap out of my hair shampoo. What do they call those? Clarifying shampoo. I ended up giving myself a scalp infection, which was a little bit of an expensive problem to fix. Basically, this is gross, so skip to this timestamp if you don't want to hear what went wrong. But basically, I had a yeast infection on my head. And it wasn't as bad as when you get a yeast infection downstairs. It wasn't like terrible. But I had essentially a yeast infection on my scalp that took a month and a half to be treated and to go away. So for those reasons, I also, another thing, half the products I was allergic to, because there's an ingredient called like whatever, that's very common in like almost all curly hair products, and I was allergic to it. So for all of those reasons, I have stopped doing the Curly Girl method. My hair, when sort of styled like straight, I think it looks fine. And when I want to do it curly, what I do is I just sort of wet set it. And because my hair is curly, a wet set will hold for all day and all day the next day until I wash it again. Because my curls don't ever fall because my hair is naturally curly. It can hold a curl. So I do a wet set if I want my hair curly, or I'll just do it straight. And I feel like it looks fine. Like, yeah, it would be cool to have my natural curly hair, but it's really kind of a lot of maintenance, more than you would probably think. It's very expensive, and it didn't work for my scalp. So I regret it because I spent hundreds of dollars on stuff that I ended up not using, and it all found a good home. I either donated it or sold it or, gave it away, whatever, but still a regret. And that is going to be it for today's video. Let me know in the comments down below if you have started a minimalist lifestyle. Have you regretted anything you've purchased since becoming minimalist? I'm curious as to your thought process, if it's at all similar to mine. Leave a comment, please, to help the algorithm push this video. Like if you liked it, and subscribe if you're not already. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Bye.